Now let's go to our last section, which is the footer. Let me go here. Let me zoom in. So I think by now you probably know the drill. We have 3 columns, and we have let me go to the one that doesn't have like so we have 3 columns. They are 1100 pixel wide. We already have them inside the container. We have uppercase letters, we have some spacing, and we have some border on the left. The same thing here, some padding and some border on the bottom, some padding and some border on the left side. So we have to transfer to uppercase, put some weight and some font size, add a border, and then of course set the hover pseudo class in order to go to this to get this result. So let me go here. I will now focus on the footer. So for the footer we have these 3 sections. So I believe I can target the footer. So I will go here and I will say for the footer I will have a font size. Now I will use the text. Where is my let me see the variable. I think I have a variable for the text normal. So text normal. Okay, so we have this text normal. I can also set the variable for the weight, so I will use 700 for now, and text transform uppercase, and I think we're getting closer to our result. Okay, we need some extra space between these elements, but before adding some space between these elements I have to get rid of the left padding of the UL list. Remember, if I inspect all the UI elements have this padding at the left. You can see the green space at the left. They also have some margin at the top and the bottom, and they also have this bullet style. So let's reset. Now I can create some utility classes to reset this UL elements. So these are inside here. So I will create just a special like utility class that resets the UL. So I'm going to go here and I will say, okay, UL reset. It's going to set the list style to none. It's going to set the padding left to 0 to reset the default left padding of UL list, and it's going to also have a margin of 0 both for top and bottom and left and right. So I have this class. I can grab it and apply it here on these 3 elements. So I will reset the first UL, I will reset the second UL and the third UL. So now it's more closer to what I need. This, oh, I just removed this from here. Make sure to close the opening tags. And now let's add some space between these elements. Once again, we're going to need like a left border. So let's start with this left border. So for this one, since we want to target the li elements inside this UL, inside these sections, I'm going to use a class to be able to target all these elements at once. So I am going to create a class, I don't know, let's name it li spaced for now. I'm out of inspiration for now. So li spaced means that we're going to have some border left. That's going to be 4 pixels, solid, var, and the color, where is the light color? Light, the text highlight color. So and I'm going to add this to the UL parent element, so that it gets inherited by the children of the UL. So everything, this property, this border left, is being inherited by all the li elements from the UL. So I don't need to apply the class to all the li elements. I just apply it to the UL, and it gets inherited from its children. I have this li here. Let me also put this on the other lists, so I can easily play around with the styling with 3 different UL at the same time. I'm getting closer to the mockup. Let me add some padding left. I think it was like something like 2 REMs, if I'm something like that, or let's see the design. I think it's closer to 2 REMs, so padding left, and some I would say padding bottom for the spacing. So I think that's no, that, as you can see, just gives a padding bottom only to the UL element, so this is not inherited in the by the children. So the padding bottom and the padding left just add the paddings on the UL element itself. So there are some properties that are inherited, but then we have this this problem here. So I'm just going to stick with padding left and border left on the UL. So this is applied on the UL. So let me just inspect to double check that. I was wrong. So if the UL is applied on the border left and the padding left is applied on the UL, it's not getting inherited by the ALI. There are different properties that are inherited by the ALI, just the color or the text font size and stuff like that, but the border is applied to the UL itself. And for this one, I want them to target the LI elements and give them some extra padding. So once again, I can play around with the inspector, but I can also say find this L spaced, find all the LI elements, so every UL that has this LI spaced, find all or the LI elements, and add a padding bottom 1 REM. So that will apply the padding bottom at the LI elements themselves, not on the UL. And also, if I move the padding left from the UL to the LI, I think we're going to have well, we have the same result. We have the last element here that has an extra, as you can see, padding at the bottom, so we can override this, so we can find all the LI elements inside the LI spaced class UL, which is the last child, and then the padding bottom should be 0. So we set the padding for the last child, and thus we get the result, the visual result that we want. Okay, let me also create the hover for these elements. So I'm going to target the LI elements. Say I'm going to experiment with the style and then add the hover pseudo selector. So color var, we have, I think, the highlighted. Yes, that's it. So that's the color that we want. Okay, it works. Now I will apply the hover pseudo class so that it only happens when I'm hovering. Okay, let's also add a cursor pointer so that they look clickable. So as you can see, the pointer changes to the hand, and that's my last section here. There's some space. This section, this container at the bottom, has some space above and below, along with this one. So I'm going to add some spacing in this section. So this div container, as you can see, this like orange container has some space below and above. So I will go and I will have to add this spacing. Let me. Okay, and this is the footer, and this is the first container. So this is the first container that contains these 3 columns, so this requires some margin below and above. So I'm going once again to create a utility class. So I'm going to go to my utility classes here and say I don't know, margin on the y-axis is like 2 rems. So I'm just going to create a shortcut. This can be something like margin y mean on the y-axis on top and bottom, and I will name it 2, or I can name it something like y2 for short. It's up to you. The one in most is more readable but takes quite some time to type. And then I will set the margin top to 2 rem and the margin bottom to also 2 rems. And then just by using either this or this class, I can apply the setting that I want on my first container. So now I have this, and I can also add it on another containers. And it looks a little bit closer to what I have here. The nice thing is that the margin bottom and the margin top of these 2 sections are collapsing, so we don't have like an extra double space here, but we will get rid of the copyright. We will of course have this copyright section look exactly like the here, like the mock-up. So let me zoom out a bit, and I think we are close to getting to the final mock-up. Let's conclude the footer with the copyright. So for the copyright, I have this copyright section and we have an ID copy. What we need to do here is to have like this span the full width, have this highlighted background color, and have this copyright Flappy INC. So let's apply the background color. I will go here after the footer and I will target the div with ID copy, give it a background color of a var, and this is the color. The color itself would be, I think, the text dark color. Let's give it some padding, and I will also text align center. And then of course I will have to change the text, so I will go here and I will select the HTML entity for the copyright icon. So copy, this is the special code for in HTML for the copyright symbol, and then Flappy I don't know, 2013 or whatever. Let me see once again, Flappy INC, so 2014 Flappy INC. Now I can make this lowercase and just use the text transform. It's up to you to decide, and we have the last section ready. So let's check. Everything looks good. Everything looks good with highlighting.